Why, hello to all of my fellow nursing students who are currently trying to figure out how to study for the thing we call NCLEX. Now, NCLEX is something else. The thing is, when you get into nursing school, you're like, yay, I got into nursing school! And then they tell you, don't get too excited yet. The next 2 years you're going to be studying for this huge exam to get your license. And that can be pretty daunting, especially because you've constantly heard about this and you're like, oh God, will I pass? Will I not? What is the NCLEX? So let me tell you a little bit about what the NCLEX is. It's this nationwide exam that you take in the United States to get your license to become a registered nurse. I know they have, I think it's the NCLEX PN for the license to become an LVN, but I'm not too sure, sorry. So well, anyway, you take this exam. It can be between 75 questions to 265, and it's computerized, and so what that means is while you're taking the exam, the computer has this algorithm where it determines what areas you're strong or weak in. So the more questions you get right, the worse you feel like you're doing, because they're giving you harder questions and more critical thinking instead of knowledge-based questions. So, of course, when you walk outside, you're like, oh my God, I failed that. So that's how I felt in 75 questions, but then later on I found out after the 48 hours I passed. So I wanted to share a few resources that I used that you guys can look up and figure out if that would be good for you or not. So the first thing that I did, and I really did enjoy this, was I paid for the Hurst review and I did the live session. And the reason why I chose Hurst over Kaplan, by the way, both of them are great for different things. Kaplan is more so test-taking strategies, while Hurst is a lot about content. And the reason why I chose Hurst over Kaplan was because, A, I wanted a great foundation in my content, not only for the NCLEX, but also for when I enter the real world, and so I can build upon that in my residency. And some people are like, well, haven't you been learning content within the past 2 years? Yes, I have, but the thing is, there's a difference between the real world and then NCLEX world, and happy NCLEX hospital, where you only have the patient that is right in front of you, unless it's a choose which patient you would see first question. So that's the first reason why I chose the Hearst review, and then also the second reason was that I could go to as many live sessions within that specific payment as I wanted to. And so for me, I'm a kinesthetic/auditory learner, so to go in person and hear someone talk about the material over and over again really helped me understand it and grasp the concept. So, of course, doing this course is not going to be the only thing that's going to help you. You're going to have to take the 3-day course if you decide to do it in person, and then you have to give yourself time to look through all of the material. It is 268 pages long, and the font is not bad. It's pretty big, I feel. And so it's really easy to get through all of this content in a short amount of time, but give yourself a few weeks to go through everything. What I did was I broke down everything. So this is like, first they go over fluids and electrolytes, and then they go over acid-base balance, and then burns, etc., etc. So I would read fluids and electrolytes, and I told myself, okay, do I understand this? And once I understood that, I went to the next chapter, and it builds upon one another. So I just really enjoyed the Hearst review because they put it in a way where everything made sense. Like, I had a little trouble on endocrine in nursing school, and now it makes so much sense. Just, it's a good buy. It's gonna help you. And it comes with, so along with the live review, which is 3 days long, it's about 8 hours each, it comes with a 14-day subscription to the online videos, and that's the same exact thing that you guys had in the live session. You also have supplemental videos that are already included. You can watch those as many times as you want during your Hurst review subscription, I guess. And those are going to be your women's health, your pediatrics courses, the delegation course, and then I think an oncology video. And you fill out the stuff in this book. I'm not going to show you all this because they have a lot of copyright issues. So if you really want to look this up, they might have an online video that you can view on their website. I'll post it down below. But that they have, and then they also have 4 exams that you take, and it's 125 questions each, and then they also have a question bank of about 1,000 questions. I think it's new. So when I first started, I started the semester, my final year of nursing school, and I took the live review because I wanted to just get the material, so then when I had time during my final semester, I could just start studying for the NCLEX. And then later on, I took another live review again, and they had changed it from 6 tests that were 125 to 4 plus that question bank. So that's why there were fewer exams, because they added the question bank. But this works. It really does. So I had to take a CCI course, and that was just preparing us for the NCLEX and our specific program that I was in. And we had to take the HESI, the exit HESI, and then 2 other exams, which were freaking hard because they wanted to make sure that we weren't afraid of really hard questions. So that's why they were really, man. I mean, I guess it worked, so. But with the exit HESI, I actually prepared for it because I wanted to see if the Hurst review worked. So I read this book just right before, and I think I took about a week to look over all of this stuff, and it really boosted my HESI score. I think that was the highest. No, it was the highest that I had received. It was really helpful. And so when I got my authorization to test, I decided to take the very first test date that I could. And of course, that was in a week and a half. So I had just come back from my vacation, and I was like, shoot, I need to start studying. So I studied hardcore for about a week and a half. I bought UWorld, which is this online testing bank, I guess you can call it. And what you do is you can only take 75 questions because their reasoning behind it is that they want you to pass within 75 questions. And I really did enjoy UWorld because, first of all, it looks exactly like the NCLEX. Like, the formatting is spot on. Secondly, they had the best rationales that I could find. And that's how I learned a lot of my material using Hearst and UWorld. So don't forget to remember to read every single rationale for the questions. Even if you got it right, read the questions and read the rationales, because that's how you're going to learn. You're not going to learn if you just read the ones that you missed. And for those people who don't want to pay an arm and a leg, because I paid an arm and a leg because I started freaking out when everyone's like, oh my god, I passed, and this is what I used, UWorld, it's amazing. And so am I ready to take the exam? I was. It's okay. But if you don't want to pay an arm and a leg, for us, we had to buy the Saunders NCLEX 6th edition green book, I want to say that is. But it was the access to the online version. So it's just a book of questions. And if you had to choose between the book and the online version, please do the online version because you're taking the exam online. So try to get as many online practice tests as you possibly can. So that was really helpful, and I knew a few friends that just did that. They just did Saunders, they looked at their old nursing notebook, or their nursing notes, and used the Saunders comprehensive review, and they passed within 75 questions. So it's really, like, it really depends on what you're looking for and what you want to do, how you think these programs will prepare you. But that's what I did. I passed within 75. I think I finished within like 30 minutes. I was freaking out. It was so bad. Oh my god. Every state is different, and my state, I could pay to find out my results early on, which you can only do it 48 hours after you take the exam. So, of course, within those 48 hours, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god, I'm dead. What am I going to tell my work? I can't even pass NCLEX. When am I going to tell my friends and my family members and stuff? It was just, I was a hot mess. Sorry to all those people that I annoyed during my 48 hours, and shout out to you guys, because I couldn't have done this without you. But the thing is, if you don't pass within 75 questions, let's say you go on after 75 and you start freaking out, do not freak out, because the thing is, as long as the computer is giving you questions, you have an opportunity to pass the exam. I know people that have passed within 75, and I know people that have passed within 265 questions. So please do not freak out. It doesn't matter how many questions you get. It's just the computer determining what level you are and how many questions it needs to spit out. Some people, they got questions that focused mainly on a specific section because that's what they were weak in, and then others just got random questions throughout. So you guys can do it. I believe in all of you. And the thing is, if you fail the first time, you can take it again. I think you have to wait either 45 or 90 days. It just depends on the specific state. But I know people that have failed, and they are amazing nurses. So please do not let the NCLEX bring you down, because it's not worth it. You guys have prepared for this during these past 2 years. You've got this. So good luck, and I would love to hear all of your success stories.